Welcome to Snap's Instant Quote training. Here we'll learn how to speed the automated submission process with Snap IQ for small business, from initial quote to final bind. You can begin application upload or direct entry at any time and submit applications up to 120 calendar days in advance of the effective date. With Snap IQ, the submission process is automated for submissions that meet eligibility requirements on selected class codes in many states. Manual premiums can be as low as $1,500 with operations in a single state. In this training demo, we'll create a direct entry submission and see how the Instant Quote process creates the proposal, offers binding, and lets you receive the policy number in just a few steps without underwriting intervention. New submissions can be uploaded from your agency management system, uploaded from an Accord PDF application, or created with direct entry into Snap using the New Submission button. For more information on uploading from your agency management system or an Accord PDF, see the training demo on uploaded submissions. Now let's click New Submission to create a direct entry application. When you click the New Submission button, the Submission Details window opens for entry of the insured name and the effective and expiration dates. For your submission, you can select any current or future effective date to start the entry process, and ICW accepts submissions up to 120 calendar days in advance of the effective date. Before completing the application, you may optionally pre-qualify or check clearance on the submission by providing a few details for class code, payrolls, and/or FEIN. This step can save you valuable entry time and let you know if the submission meets ICW Group's risk appetite and is not already submitted from another agency. For more information on pre-qualify and check clearance, see the associated training demo. To continue with this application, click Create Application. The submission opens in draft status on the Application General Information screen. In the left nav, you'll also see the submission overview link for the agency, producer, and agency brokerage contact based on the user login. From any of the application links, you can use the Actions button to check clearance and/or pre-qualify while your submission is in draft status. See the training demo on Check Clearance or Pre-Qualify Submission for more details. The application link contains 5 sublinks that complete your submission. Each sublink indicates the number of remaining required fields for each screen. The mandatory fields are the minimum required to obtain an instant quote or to reserve the market on larger submissions. From the General Info screen, we'll continue entering the submission information. The Submit button is activated when all required fields have been completed. When a required field entry is completed, the red asterisk turns to a green checkmark, updating the number of remaining required fields on the Form tab. Start typing to see the list of entries narrow the results. You'll also see smart fields that complete related field entry automatically. For example, enter zip code and watch as city and state automatically pre-fill. You can hover in a field with your mouse to get help on the entry requirements for important fields. A red outline around a field lets you know there is an entry error before you submit the application, so you can make the correction. The upper right corner of each screen contains another red asterisk counter to help navigate you to the next required field. Clicking this asterisk shows you the next incomplete or invalid required field. Each application form contains its own scroll bar for viewing all form fields. Instant quotes are available as guaranteed cost in all states, and some insureds will qualify for a participating quote in Florida and Wisconsin. The hover help for policy type will give you all the details. After the last required field is completed, the screen is updated to reflect no required fields remaining. Click the next sublink for locations class codes to display the information. This form contains the location and class code schedules. The smart question for location will set the first location to the insured's mailing address. Only use this option if the mailing address is not a P.O. box. Checking the box automatically fills in the address for the first location from the insured's mailing address field on the General Information page. Be sure to enter the number of employees to complete this location entry. To add additional locations, click the plus button in the blue header bar. To delete a location, click the trash can icon in the blue header bar and then click the row or rows you want to delete. Then click the delete button and confirm by clicking delete again. If you did not use the pre-qualification feature, the class code information will need to be completed now. Snap fills in the location number and state for the first row so you can enter the class code and select a description. You'll see the total estimated annual remuneration will calculate automatically for you after each class code is added. Just like in locations, to add an additional class code, click the plus button in the blue header bar. Then complete the remaining required fields for all class codes. Instant quoting is available on selected class codes where the manual premium is as low as $1,500. Use the scroll bar to complete the remaining required fields. For instant quote eligibility, your submission must have Part 2 limits that are no more than million. Policy year payroll is also required, and Snap will automatically load the effective dates for you. And you can click the plus sign or trash can icon to add or delete rows. Instant quoting is available on accounts where the remaining fields on this form contain the default selection values. For example, US L&H is checked No. When all required entry has been made, the location class code sublink shows completed. Snap always reminds you of the total remaining required fields for the application. Click the Accord Questions sublink. Complete the Included/Excluded section as needed for the insured. The Accord Question form also has a smart feature for quick entry. When you click the checkbox to default all answers to No, you can then edit individual responses to Yes if applicable. Review the questions for responses where the Yes option should be selected for this submission. Some questions with a Yes response may require additional information. When the Accord Question screen is completed, click the Supplemental Info sublink to complete the application. The Experience sublink contains no mandatory entry and will be completed by underwriting from the submission's uploaded loss runs. The Supplemental Info form is our last form on the application. On this form, you have the option of clicking the Instant Quote box if you would like to go directly into answering supplemental questions. If you're not sure the submission qualifies for IQ, Snap will let you know. In the Supplemental Info section, there will be two possible options available under Indicate Desired Action. These options appear based on the effective date of the submission. The Bypass the Questions choice is available only when the effective date of the submission is more than 60 days from the application entry date. When the Bypass option is selected, the Submit button becomes available. Click the Submit button to continue to reserve the market for this submission. Click Yes to acknowledge. If your submission is not an IQ-eligible submission, you will receive a confirmation that the application was sent to underwriting for consideration to reserve the market. The submission will move to the submitted status. But for IQ-eligible submission, Snap will present an alert message and require that the supplemental questions be answered before quoting. When all mandatory entry is complete, the Submit button becomes available. Clicking Submit continues the Instant Quote process. Click Yes to submit the application for Instant Quote processing. The quote opens automatically. IQ proposals do not provide a cover letter as in other Snap proposals. Use the scroll bar to view the quote and the print and download tools to present the quote to the insured. The quote is also emailed automatically to the producer user and the agency broker contact user. If the submission qualified for IQ, Snap used the default options and presented the quote. To create a quote with a different option, for example, changing the pay frequency or removing the commission information, use the Action button to select Create Proposal, and then select options to generate a second quote. Select your new quote options and click Get Quote. Your new quote is presented, and as with the original proposal, the new quote is emailed automatically to the producer user and the agency broker contact user. Both quotes appear in the left nav. All proposals are available on the Quotes link in the left nav. Open any quote to view, print, or download. After reviewing a quote with the insured, you can begin binding. Binding is available when you click on the quote sublink in the left nav. You can close the proposal or even the submission now and resume the binding steps at any time while the quote is valid. Attaching loss runs to your submission is an important step in the quote binding process. For non-IQ submissions, loss runs are required during the application submission process. For submissions where you have reserved the market rather than completing the supplemental info, you'll receive a reminder email 5 days prior to the date when ICW will need a completed application. At that time, you will also need to attach 4 years of currently valued loss runs. For instant quotes, the loss runs are not required on the submission until you begin the binding process. You should attach 4 years of currently valued loss runs before you begin binding or immediately after you have requested binding. Current valuation is within 120 days of the effective date. The ICW underwriting staff will update the Submissions Experience tab with information from your uploaded loss runs. You can find more about attachment features in the Collaboration Training module. After attaching the loss runs, click the Begin Binding button on the Open Proposal. Complete a few required fields on the form and then click Request to Bind. Click Yes to confirm, and the binding process occurs immediately and a policy number is issued. Status is now bound with the policy number on the Submissions tab. You will automatically receive an email from Snap with the policy number, binding information, and a link to the submission. The email also appears in the Collaboration section. And the process is complete. In just a few steps, we were able to quote the account, receive the quote online, bind online, and receive the policy number in just a few minutes. That's Instant Quote. In this training demo, we learned you can begin application upload or direct entry at any time and submit applications up to 120 calendar days in advance of the effective date. And with SnapIQ Instant Quote, the submission process is automated for submissions that meet eligibility requirements on selected class codes with manual premiums as low as $1,500 in several states. We learned you can create a direct entry submission or use an uploaded submission. You can create an IQ proposal and bind the submission within minutes. You'll receive the policy number as soon as the submission is bound, and all without underwriting intervention. We hope this video answered your questions. If you still need assistance, we're happy to help. See our Snap resource area for additional videos and guides at icwgroup.com/snap or simply call your ICW Group Business Development Underwriter. Thanks for watching.